hear mostly how it feels to my guys, so it feels good to them. Proud of their composure second half. Obviously made it tougher than it should have been, but the team's been through a lot this year. One of the things I told them before the game was one of two things happens when you've been through a rough patch, you know, that inevitably teams go through, and you see it a lot. You know, one of two things happens, and on one hand, you can be fractured, you could crumble, and you can divide. And we haven't done that. And what we've done is what good teams do. They've grown stronger, they've gotten better, and they become unbreakable. And this team, because of what we've been through, we're better, we're stronger, we're hungrier. And that's how we were able to pull that out in the second half, because of what we've gone through. And I think it's what's going to continue to propel us, hopefully, in these future games. You know, the blessing of what has transpired in this season is now that we're in games that are pressure, margin for error slim, we're probably the strongest and toughest team in the league because of that. And that's why we were able to pull that victory out in the second half. And we need to continue to use that to our advantage when we're in a situation like we were today.
You inserted Liam Mitchell into the game after a week of practice. How did you look, and what is he bringing to the team?
I thought it was outstanding. I mean, especially considering he's only trained 5 days, coming off an off-season, 5-week off-season. He hasn't played a game since April, and you know, I think early on he's getting used to the turf a little bit. It's a little tricky the way the ball kind of skips in and gets caught and stuck. But for me, the play that summed up his performance was when Dylan Powers was driving late in the game, top of the box, and he just held his position and cut the shot out. You know, it's those little plays that we need our defenders to make to win games. You know, this game is a game of moments, and it's the little things that wins you games. And I thought he did a lot of little things today to help us, and so did some of the others. Obviously, Gaston and Maxi going in the game, we thought they could change the game and give us a boost, and they did. You know, Valeri was special tonight. So overall, good 3 points. You know, but it's no more than 3 points. We got to move on. We'll enjoy this for a couple days and get back to work and get focused on Montreal, and we won't deviate from the process we followed this week, which is we're focused on the next game. That's it. We're not going to get distracted by anything else.
Coach, you mentioned Diego. Can you speak a little bit more about his performance, but also he played on the left a lot more than maybe he would in a normal game. Can you tell us what you were thinking in that regard?
Well, the key with that was Clute. You know, we normally would shift him to the right sometimes because he tends to like to float there. You see that through the run of play. Even when he's playing with 10, he kind of fades there, and that's his natural playing style. You know, but with Clute, he would have had to do too much defending. So D was a better matchup there because Darlington's a guy that will be able to track up and back a little bit more. So we felt to get Gaston and Maxi on the field that was the best spot. And what was interesting, like you said, was for some reason today, and I think it's more his ability to feel a game and smell where the spaces are. You know, he floated a lot to that left. And so we felt that was the right move to shift him over there. And in the end, it worked out. He was able to come inside on that right foot and smack a ball, score the game winner.
How do you feel about where Rodney Wallace is, and what is him being healthy? Like, what does that add?
Rodney's healthy, obviously. He's got a few games in, but the thing to remember is he's been out 6 months, so 6.5 months. So it's going to take some time for him to get into a groove and a rhythm and get his timing right, and you know, little soccer nuances and details, those take time. But you know, he went in for a few minutes, but he still, I thought, did well and won a couple handballs and brought some, you know, some defending, which is what we wanted him to do.
You flipped Mike and Jack at halftime. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, we were planning to start Jorge Villafana, but it was a late game scratch. So he pulled up yesterday with a little bit of a niggle and evaluated him more today, and he wasn't going to be able to go. So I didn't want to disrupt the preparation in all the other spots. Jack has played the left back, thought that he would control the space a little bit more next to Ridgewell, knowing that he wasn't completely 90 minutes fit, and also, you know, with Zach Awani playing more as a true winger, we felt we'd get the width there. But I didn't like the way it was going, and so I felt with Mikey there on the left, he's gonna get forward a little bit more, create 2v1s, and Jack's obviously right-footed, so in the end, I just didn't like the way it went first half, so I made that change.
Maxie and Gaston coming on together in the second half. What was the
Yeah.
thinking about that?
Well, sometimes you make subs and you chop it up too much, and you never get into a rhythm, so my thought was, let's put them both on and let them get into a rhythm together versus layering it in. So, that was the thinking. Those two guys gave in. Sometimes one boost is a little, and, 2 boosts is twice as much. So we felt we needed a major change of the game and a major boost. And I didn't want to, like I said, chop the game up too much.
Overall, did you like the defense?
I thought overall the back four, especially, was outstanding. I thought first half, at times we were a little stretched. That's one of the things I said at halftime is we kind of got a little rattled. I think because we've given up early goals, it rattled us, and I didn't think we kept our composure very well. And we didn't dig in and defend. Part of chasing a game isn't just attacking; it's defending. You have to dig in and defend, otherwise you get the next goal. And if you don't defend, you don't get back on the ball. And I thought that we were a little bit, we weren't as hungry as we needed to be defensively. And we adjusted a few things with the positioning of Will Johnson and Valeri so that we had more midfield. Because that's the other thing when you're chasing a game. Sometimes you think you always just push numbers forward. Well, then you lose the midfield and you're never able to get a hold of the game and control it. So I think that helped. Obviously, when we were able to. Valeri's playing a little too high first half, and so was Will. And so at times it was Charo was the only guy in midfield, and I thought that move in the second half helped us get a hold of the midfield, a grip on the game a little bit.
Last year against Colorado at home, you absorbed more pressure than you really did against any other team in 2013 at home. Tonight you really came out to possess the ball and hold a lot more of it. What was the thinking behind that change?
Well, get back to playing the way we're built to play. We've been in a situation the last 3 weeks where we've had to manage and rotate, and you're trying to get through the game against Seattle. We're shredded, and so going into that game, it wouldn't have made sense to go and fly around the field. We saw the last 20 minutes, and getting an open game on the road with 64,000 fans when you got guys that are tired wouldn't have been a smart move. But I think we've been affected a little bit by that, having to manage. It's the blessing of moving along in the Open Cup. You get rewarded for your good work by more work, but also then it makes it harder to manage. And I think we weren't really able to get into a game fresh and have some time to prepare and to get on the front foot and be more proactive, which is really what we're built to do. And we're best when we're playing that way, like we did the second half.
Last one, please.
Caleb, obviously your focus is on this team and all this, but your all-star lineup's coming out tomorrow. How do you feel about the roster you picked?
Well, I wish I had more timbers on it. I'd put a lot more timbers on it if I could. But we might get a couple in there. But there are more timbers that are deserving. But I think it's a group of guys that have earned it, and that more than anything, when in the game, I felt it was important to reward guys that have earned it. There are a few guys that aren't on there from around the league that probably earned it, that aren't going to get on. At the end of the day, you got to draw a line, and we're going to name 23 guys tomorrow, but there's still a few guys that should be on there that deserve it. But there's a lot of good players in this league, and a lot of attacking players that have had good seasons. So I said the other day, the irony of that is, if I picked all the players that earned it, I'd be playing a formation that wouldn't work in the game with too many strikers. But I still took more strikers than probably I should have because they deserve it. So in the end, we're going to highlight the players and showcase their abilities and try to make it a game, make it exciting at the very least. Maybe it'll be a 5-5 game or something.
Thanks, everyone. Locker room's open.